5 on Your Side at 10 starts now.
Prosecutor probe.
I'm not really happy with the way this was conducted.
I guess I'm confused because I believe the resolution asked for over the last 6 years.
Tonight, the results of a state audit are in, leaving a confused St. Louis County Council demanding a deeper dive.
Trending warmer. We're tracking changes that bring back the summertime feel to St. Louis, why it won't be as brutal as the last stretch of heat we dealt with.
Our top story, smoke shop shenanigans causing public problems.
Intoxicated, passed out on the street, walking around like zombies.
Tonight, the owner's rapid response on calls to close his store. Disturbing video showing people sleeping on a downtown sidewalk, others drunk and high, loitering outside. Neighbors now saying enough is enough. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Tonight, the owner of Easy Vape Shop is now firing back against his critics. 5 on Your Side's Brent Solomon is live downtown, hearing from both sides. Brent.
Well, police tell us within the last year, they've had 60 calls for service at that downtown vape shop. 50 of them this year alone. Now some neighbors tonight are calling on the city to crack down here. But that business owner tells me he's trying to make a living. See for yourself startling images in front of the Easy Vape Shop on 10th Street downtown.
People who are clearly intoxicated on some sort of psychoactive drug, laying on the street, laying on the sidewalk.
You can even see police responding. In some of these images, citizens for Greater Downtown posted on X.
And people are afraid to walk on that block.
Downtown neighbor Les Sturman is calling it a public health issue.
Intoxicated, passed out on the street, walking around like zombies.
He points to a legal product sold inside called THCA. That's a form of cannabis that can't get you high until it's turned into THC. Sturman questions if customers are buying it and combining it with illegal street drugs, resulting in people passing out. Others, as you see here, barely able to stand up straight, right in front of the shop.
We've certainly been appealing to the city to pursue it. Clearly, we think that it's in the public interest, and the city is supposed to be acting in the public interest. So we think they ought to be taking action.
If the FITIV and police department's job to clear that, because I don't own the street.
The owner tells me he too has concerns about people loitering outside. He says he often asks them to leave.
It does not look good for my business when people are like hanging out there.
And he says the majority of those who hang out outside don't come in to buy THCA. He says most buy these cigar wraps instead.
I'm not selling anything which is illegal. I'm only selling what the state has allowed.
We're all trying to turn downtown around. We're trying to make it into a great place to live and work. When whole blocks are taken up by this kind of activity, it sends the wrong message.
Now, the owner says he would welcome a government representative to come in and spend a day at the shop, see what people are buying and what they're doing with those products. But that downtown group says they're going to keep applying the pressure for the city to declare that property a nuisance. I've reached out to the city, but so far no response. Mike.
Brent, thanks. Well, we've recently had some cool nights and some comfortable days in the bi-state.
It's been so nice. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell tracking a warm-up and a slim rain chance tonight.
I know some of us had some showers this afternoon, a few rumbles of thunder. Not everybody saw the rain. In fact, it wasn't widespread. Here's Lambert. No rain there today. In fact, we look at the radar. This is a lot of ground clutter, but what we would look for is something that would be on the move. It was a little more impressive. We're not seeing that now, but 2 hours ago we did. It was in South County. Down in Valley Park, 26/100ths of an inch hit the rain gauge there, the USGS rain gauge at the Merrimack River. And you had some pockets here off to the east of St. Louis where there was more than a half an inch of rainfall, but it was not widespread. It was very much isolated. Now tonight our temperatures are in the upper 60s and lower 70s, so it's mild across the region. Metro area mainly in the 70s right now. We will not be as cool tomorrow morning in town. Closer to 70, outlying areas mostly in the low to mid 60s. Out the door tomorrow morning, we do expect to still have some lingering clouds. There may be a patch or two of some fog around, but in general, it's a pretty quiet start tomorrow morning. Just not as crisp as the last couple of mornings in St. Louis. We'll see in a few minutes. We will talk more about that warm-up for the weekend.
All right, Scott. Just hours ago, the St. Louis County Council wrapped up its first meeting since County Executive Sam Page was indicted. However, tonight, it wasn't Page's alleged misuse of funds under the microscope.
New tonight, Annie Kroll was at the meeting hearing about confusion and concern surrounding spending dating back 6 years, Annie.
Mike and Kelly, the council called on the state auditor's office to look into the financials of the prosecuting attorney's office. This was a financial investigation done on the state's dime, not a full-blown audit. The findings weren't what the council expected.
Perhaps we were not aware of what we should actually be looking for.
Some St. Louis County Council members called for a more extensive audit of the prosecuting attorney's office after an initial investigation, something Council Chair Rita Hurd Days thought they'd already asked for from the state auditor's office.
I guess I'm confused because I believe the resolution asked for over the last 6 years. And even as an investigation, would you not ask for, would you not investigate over the last 6 years, since that's what the request was?
Current County Prosecutor Melissa Price-Smith supported the request, saying it would give a clearer picture of operations, especially under her predecessor, Congressman Wesley Bell. Sunshine Law reports, travel expenses, and timesheets were all analyzed over the last 2 years.
We picked a time period that we think covered the credit card use, Sunshine Law use in the last few years, and then the other items that the council.
So if you did 2 years, we'd never find out about the previous 4, which is what the concern was. If I recall correctly, that was what the concern was from this council.
Some issues in delayed sunshine requests were flagged, but Councilman Mark Harder was not entirely confident with the auditor's lack of visiting the prosecuting attorney's office, though investigations are typically done remotely.
I'm not really happy with the way this was conducted. I thought this would be more focused. I thought people would be at least face to face with some of the people in the prosecutor's office and be able to dig in some, different places and maybe find other things.
It was a free 6-month step in comparison to a nearly $300,000 and year-long audit if authorized by the council. According to the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, they have 66 attorneys and about 40 other staff members. Investigators looked at every weekly timesheet over the last 6 months, finding 43 instances where employees had to explain overlapped county time with mostly municipal court work.
The prosecutor has since implemented new procedures to ensure weekly sign-off by a supervisor for all the timesheets.
I'm encouraged by that she came in and saw what needed to be cleaned up and actually cleaned some things up.
It was a recommended procedure, but not a policy for supervisors in the prosecuting attorney's office to sign off on a weekly timesheet. If the council were to move forward with authorizing a more in-depth audit, it would cost the county about $300,000 and open the doors to comb through Price-Smith's records rather than just spending.
The city of St. Louis is paying out a $190,000 settlement to a local clergy member who claimed police used excessive force while arresting him during the Jason Stockley protests. Reverend Darrell Gray says officers forced him to the ground and used pepper spray during his arrest outside Busch Stadium in September of 2017. It was one of several protests and unrest in response to the acquittal of former police officer Jason Stockley and the death of Anthony Lamar Smith. As part of the settlement, the city denied any wrongdoing.
Tonight, more than 3,000 Boeing workers are on strike. Union members rejected a second contract proposal involving a 4-year deal, which included a 20% general wage increase. Workers hit the picket lines at 3 local manufacturing plants. They're demanding more pay, benefits, and respect.
We train people here and then they leave because our wages are so low. So give us the respect that we deserve.
Boeing's vice president shared a statement saying the company is prepared to implement its contingency plan to continue supporting its customers.
Tonight, Texas Democrats who fled to Illinois to avoid a redistricting vote are facing civil arrest warrants. The Texas State House approved the motion today. It allows the sergeant-at-arms to track down and return absent members. Democrats came to Illinois to stall a vote on a new redistricting map, which gives the GOP a path to pick up 5 seats in next year's midterm elections.
The people of Texas are watching, and so is the nation. And if you choose to continue down this road, you should know there will be consequences.
Well, I knew by breaking quorum that I was going to face certain consequences, financial, personal, maybe even legal. We'll see. But I do know that it's the right thing to do.
This is all part of a push by President Trump to redistrict Republican states. Missouri Congressman Bob Onder has asked Mr. Trump to support a plan like that in Missouri. Governor Mike Kehoe has not called on a special session yet. His office says he will consider options which best represent Missourians. If there were any changes in congressional maps in Missouri, it would likely come to Emanuel Cleaver's district in Kansas City.
Tonight, a child is recovering after being accidentally shot by a sibling with an AK-47. Police have arrested Jerez Wilson of St. John on child endangerment charges. According to court documents, Wilson admitted to leaving the loaded rifle inside a bag on the couch. The child was shot in the abdomen and taken to Children's Hospital. Her condition is not known at this time.
Tonight, 4 Texas men are behind bars in Arkansas accused of nearly $1 million pharmacy heist in Maryland Heights. The burglary happened July 31st. Police arrested the suspects the next day in Arkansas. Investigators say they were found with 284 bottles of stolen medication, totaling more than 26,000 pills of controlled substances like oxycodone and Adderall. The suspects are charged with several counts of drug trafficking. A mother's miracle.
Truly is a miracle. He is so strong and so resilient.
For the first time, we hear from the mother of the teen who survived 3 days in the woods after a traumatic fall. Plus, mushroom message. The warning tonight about toxic fungi sprouting in Missouri.
We're already looking toward the upcoming weekend. We can guarantee you it won't be as pleasant, not 5 stars as this past weekend, maybe 4. We'll track this rain out of our region in the next 6 minutes.
An update tonight on a 13-year-old St. Francis County boy found at the bottom of a ravine after more than 3 days.
He is still in a coma, and tonight his mother opens up to 5 on Your Side's Megan Kernan about the rescue, his survival, and the challenges ahead.
It's been almost a week since 13-year-old Dakota Cody Trankel Jr. was pulled from the bottom of a ravine, still alive after he disappeared for more than 3 days. His mom, Stephanie Neely, says it's been a nightmare that hasn't ended, even after her son was found.
They're still working on trying to get him stable. He's still in critical condition on the ventilator, in a coma. As you can hear in the background, his monitors are kind of going crazy.
The 13-year-old fell off his skateboard near his Goose Creek home and tumbled 240 feet down, where he laid alone for nearly 80 hours before K9 Daryl finally found him.
It was terrifying, like literally my worst nightmare.
Cody was rescued in a foot of water last Wednesday, suffering from deep wounds.
He's covered head to toe in lacerations and wounds from where he rolled down the ravine. And he's got like really bad, almost like bed sore, almost kind of like burns on his back where he was laying in the water for so long.
Stephanie says she and her sister led most of the search.
I was like, I need to find my baby. He'd already been missing for 80 hours at this point.
Cody was airlifted to Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, where he remains in critical condition with brain bleeding, pneumonia, and an infection.
Truly is a miracle. He is so strong and so resilient, and I don't know many other people, not even adults, they could have survived what he did.
Megan Kernan, 5 on Your Side.
Cody remains in an induced coma tonight, fighting for every bit of progress as his family is praying for one more miracle. His aunt started a GoFundMe to help with his mounting medical bills, and you can find that link right now in the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com.
There's a special election tomorrow in parts of Missouri. Voters in North St. Louis County will decide on Proposition 24. That proposition would help maintain streets and sidewalks in 17 towns, including Normandy, Pagedale, Wellston, and Velda City. A district-wide sales tax of up to 1% over the next 40 years would be imposed to help fund the plan. Members of Metropolitan Congregations United handed out flyers today in favor of the proposition.
The roads are in very, very bad shape. If you think about the long-term effects that it has on your car, and then most of all, the elderly and our youth having adequate lighting. A lot of these communities do not have street lights. If they are, they're burned out.
Prop 24 needs a simple majority to pass. The tax increase is expected to generate about $2 million a year. Opponents argue sales taxes are already too high. There are a few other special elections in the area tomorrow. Clayton will decide who will represent Ward 3. Florissant will fill a vacant ward seat with an uncontested race. And Eureka will vote on a tax to help fund the Fire Protection District. Polls will be open from 6 a.m. until 7 p.m.
The Missouri Department of Conservation has issued a warning about certain mushrooms that have been popping up around Missouri. Emma McDarris spoke with conservation agents and mushroom experts about how to safely harvest mushrooms.
One mushroom that appears frequently late in the summer, it's called greenspore lepiota. It gets these fairy rings, stuff like that. It's toxic. It's bad to eat, but we always get calls about that.
Conservation agents, as well as members of the Missouri Mycological Society, say to always check the identity of your mushrooms before eating them.
Want to know what it is that you're collecting and putting in your basket. If you're mixing it with like known edibles, like during the spring season when everyone's out looking for morels, you're going to find other things in the woods too. It's a safe bet to put your known edible mushrooms away from the ones that you might want to take home and research a little more and see if you can identify what those are.
Before you harvest a mushroom, in this day and age, it's easier to find out information than it used to be. It was kind of by guess and by golly. If you ask a neighbor, ask somebody who knew, crossed their fingers, then you ate it, hoped it was good. Where now you have various sources of information.
There are books like the Conservation Department's Guide to Edible Mushrooms, as well as Facebook pages like the Missouri Mycological Society's, where people can post a photo of a mushroom and help identify it. For parents, knowing if they have mushrooms in their yard can help prevent a child from eating a more harmful mushroom.
If you know you have mushrooms that grow up in your yard, even if you don't, it's a good conversation to have with your kids and just say, hey, don't eat anything out of the yard, but maybe instead just say, hey, if you find something cool out there, bring it in to me.
And if you or someone you know does eat a poisonous mushroom, conservation agents say to seek medical help and try to get a photo or sample of the mushroom so it can be identified.
All right, Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell rejoins us now with the weather impact forecast. We had a beautiful weekend. The temperatures have been very comfortable, and still, even though it's going to get a little warmer, Scott, not much to complain about.
No, not really. We're in August. These are the dog days of summer, and that dog's not barking up this tree right now. Look at this pretty picture here. Paul shared this with us from Washington, looking back to the east towards the metro of the towering clouds. Valley Park picking up about 1/4 inch of rain this evening. Here's what your sky looked like looking east from downtown St. Louis from Energizer Park. Look at those clouds building, and a couple of showers developed out of that. Some of us got a brief downpour. Others, your downpour may have lasted just a little bit longer. They're all gone tonight. The radar screen is now just filled with ground clutter, no rain. Temperature trend, it's going up. Over the next 5 days, we start to get warmer. Tomorrow's about like today, but the humidity levels will creep up a little bit. We're not talking about dangerous heat here going into the weekend. We think low 90s for highs. Dew points will probably be right around 70 degrees. That's tolerable. It's not great, but that's typical August weather for us in St. Louis. Still 74 degrees. We'll drop a few more degrees tonight. Your heaviest rain today was right along the Illinois-Indiana border there, and we saw some pretty sizable amounts. Now tomorrow, we know we have a lot of folks still working outside, not only doing your normal construction projects that we see during the summer, but we have all of our folks busy with storm repair, new roofs, trying to fix things. The chances for rain tomorrow, very slim, but we can't completely rule out a shower or a thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. It seems like the more likely area would be east of St. Louis. So your hour-by-hour futurecast, we warm quickly tomorrow morning. By lunchtime, we're back around or above 80 degrees. Low to mid-80s tomorrow afternoon. Again, the whole system is shifting a little farther east, so that just puts us in St. Louis and points west on the very fringes of any rain. It's not too early to look towards the weekend. So we're warming up on Saturday, back to 93. Shower chances and thunderstorm chances, they'd be scattered down in the southeast, maybe a few farther north and west of us. We think the area north and west eventually starts getting closer as we head into early next week. We're still pretty warm, we think, on Sunday. The conundrum we have at the moment is When does the front get in here? Does it stall around the St. Louis area over the weekend or early next week? Or does it even get close enough for us to see any tangible impacts other than it's warm, muggy, and there might be an isolated shower or thunderstorm during the heat of the day? Those are things we'll be working on over the next few days to try to fine-tune the forecast. But as far as widespread heavier rainfall, we don't see that over the next 6 to 7 days.
All right, Scott, thanks.
Here's Frank with sports.
We are going to show you a guy who may be the Cardinal ace one day. Battlehawk fans, there's hope for the future. And another Chaminade grad is shining in professional sports. We'll be right back. The Dodgers' payroll is $211 million more than the Cardinals. $211 million more. And they have 9 more victories than the Cardinals to show for it. But the Birds do have 3 more World Championships. Don't forget that. Let's head to Dodger Stadium for game 1 of the 3-game series. And Sonny Gray has been brutal in his last 3 starts. 8 in the 3rd inning, 17 earned runs. Tonight he looked sharp. 2 Ks in the 1st inning. Dodger Stadium is a big stage, and I think Mason Wynn likes those. 2nd inning, that looks easy. His 8th homer of the season. Cardinals led it 1-0. Right now it's 1-1 in the 6th. So we have to be honest. The talent level on the Major League roster is average. So the next question is, what are the minor league rankings like? The Cardinals are 20th out of 30 teams. There is talent, though, and all week long we are breaking it down with Brian Walton from the CardinalNation.com. Liam Doyle has not thrown a pitch in the Cardinal organization, but as we speak, he could be their top pitching prospect. The 5th pick in the draft out of Tennessee led the country in strikeouts, 15.5 per 9 innings. The 22-year-old touches 100 on the gun. So where exactly will he fit in one day in the rotation?
Liam Doyle, I think, has the capability to be a top rotation guy. We're talking about a guy 95 to 97, tops 100, a fastball that the scouts grade 70 to 75 on a scale of 80, holds that velocity deep into games. You know, and again, we're talking about a guy who hasn't thrown a professional pitch yet, but Liam Doyle, left-hander, has all the makings of being a future star.
The future of the United Football League seems to be a little bit better right now. I thought there was a chance it could end. After all, the Battlehawks are really the only team that draws. But things are looking up. For one, they're considering moving teams to cities who could draw better. And then there's this man, Mike Rapoli. He's the billionaire who founded Body Armor and buys all of Rick Pitino's players at St. John's. He reportedly is infusing some cash in the league and will handle the business operations. He wins at everything, and that's a good sign for the UFL and Battlehawk fans in town.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
We told you about the buzz around the family of Joe Willis at 5 o'clock. 18 years after graduating from Chaminade, the goalkeeper for Nashville SC will finally get to play in his hometown. That comes Saturday night against City SC, and he'll celebrate his 37th birthday the next day. Willis has been in the MLS since 2011, but his career has taken off in Nashville. This year, they're 3 points out of first place in the East. They've beaten front-running Philadelphia twice. Willis has 9 clean sheets in 25 games and could surpass his career high of 13. He credits a new coaching staff preaching team synergy.
Just seeing everyone playing so well and knowing that I'm a part of it in the team, you know, makes me feel like I'm playing well, and confidence breeds confidence. And it's, you know, just something that it goes a long way, especially as a goalkeeper.
And the new face of NHL 26 is Matthew Tkachuk. The official reveal isn't until Wednesday, but word did come out today. He can add that to his resume of 2 Stanley Cups, along with his recent wedding. He's having a very fine summer. And I do want to say hi to daughter Brooke and son-in-law Chris, who are watching this newscast right now. They are ever so close to having a baby. They thought by watching this, they would be so upset they could probably have a baby.
Thanks, Grandpa, again.
That's right. Yep. Oh, that's fantastic.
Coming up, why it now may be a little harder to catch a football game at Mizzou at Faurot Field this season.
A goose no longer on the loose. A 5-foot monitor lizard named Goose has been captured in Massachusetts after 2 weeks on the run. The illegally owned reptile escaped from his home last month. Authorities reportedly used eggs and chicken as bait. Goose is now being cared for at an animal sanctuary.
Season tickets for Mizzou football officially sold out today. This is the second straight season. All available season tickets sold out. Don't worry, single game tickets are still available, but they're going fast. Mizzou's first game, August 28th against Central Arkansas.
Okay, let's get a final check of our forecast.
I predict it'll be a warm day that day.
Yeah, that's a
Mizzou.
good
Yes,
chance.
Yeah. All right, weather-wise, we are talking about temperatures cruising up. We're going to be back into the lower 90s by the end of the weekend. A little more humid. The rain chances, though, look very limited. Tomorrow, mainly during the midday and through the early evening hours, there may be a few spot showers and storms around. And it looks like as we head towards Sunday and Monday, that chance perhaps increases again. But nothing widespread, no big weather systems to kick off any widespread rain.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis and have a great tomorrow.